I'm feeding the cows meal here. Changed over to a nut farm for a wee while. See how that goes. Will it decrease the number of crows that are attacking into the meal, into the shed? I was kind of thinking of changing over to a nut farm at this stage anyway. The issue with feeding the nut on the ground, as you can see, is I threw that nice and tight to the barrier. You can see the animal licks it and fires the nut out, and then they can't reach it. So I stay with them while they're eating it. I'll wait until it's all gone and I'll scrape it back into them and make sure they get it all ate. I had a great discussion with our good friends at JFC. We were putting something together that will solve that issue completely and should resolve all them problems with feeding meal and attracting wildlife and different things to come in and join them while they're eating their food, should we say. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to still try a few other things. It's not just for me, it's for you too. I know by the comments a lot of you struggle with the same thing. Boards in particular coming in and contaminating animal feed. So I'm going to try a few different things and I'll report back to you and let you know how each and every one of them have done. First thing we're going to do, we're going to put a radio in. We'll see what that does. There are other things. Some people have been really generous and been offering us different things to try. So we have other stuff coming as well. We'll try them as well. Other people mentioned rubbing engine oil on top of the barriers, on top of the gates. Rubbing black engine oil on top of everything. It's definitely not something I want to do. I imagine it'd be very messy and it'd look horrendous. And I just don't want to do it. I don't want to just dry the place in oil. Grease is another one. You put tractor grease possibly on top of the bars and things like that. Yeah, that possibly would work. Dust and stuff will stick to it. It'll get very, very tacky and very messy. So we'll try all these other stuff first and see what happens. I have the trailer on because as soon as I leave here, we are going to get a bale of straw. Yes, calving season is very, very fast approaching. So let's get this radio up. Stick it out of the way. I'll have another socket over there, but I just need to get one of these adapters just for this radio to work it. But for now, we'll just put it in for the day and see what it does. Now, I can't turn on the radio, unfortunately, when I'm recording because copyright rules and everything. It's just not allowed. So I'm going to set it up. That's what it's going to sit. I'll tuck it in here in the corner. No animal can touch it. They can't really get out of here anyway. We'll turn it up and we will report back in a few days and let you know how that does. Okay, so it's set up now on a radio station. It's not iRadio, it's what I probably would listen to, but it's a radio station. Let's put it this way: if it annoys the boards as half as much as it annoys me, it will do the trick. Alright, so that's the first bale of 2020-2021 calving season. She's not into but the 27th, so usually they can carry a few days by that. But you never know, they can calve before that. She's springing up nicely. There's another cow then in on the 29th, and she's not far behind her, so look, we'll see how it goes. Those of you know how much I like the Tipsy bin. In fact, I love it. Open this one up, you see the way it's already tilted, and you can see that the male, it's exactly, I'm just one-handed here at the moment, but you see the male is sitting on that end. You see now the idea of it, the way it tilts over and it's sitting on its own weight. As you use it from this side, you can see the way the bin tilts over itself now. It's so easy to fill from. It's on a second time now using it. It's an incredibly easy bin to use, incredibly easy bin to clean out as well. Well, Michael's business changed overnight after we mentioned that bin. Problem he had was nobody knew it existed because there was no agriculture shows or no plough matches or no nothing like that. So nobody knew it was out there. So I was more than willing to show it to people because I thought it was a great product and I thought it deserved a mention on our channel. Well, yesterday I was away in Carol's Machinery having a look at a new machine that we're going to be purchasing hopefully. And I got a phone call from Michael. That's the guy who's in charge of Megafab, who produced the Tipsy bin. He says, I'm in your area and I was just going to call up. We have a little something here for you just to thank you for reviewing our product. I told him before on the phone not to be giving us anything. We didn't want anything. We're happy to show a good product and help people out if we can. He didn't listen to me, and I got a phone call from my wife. She said, you're going to get such a surprise when you get home. And I got home, and outside my dairy door was another Tipsy bin, and look at the decoration on it. I was blown away. The amount of time that went into that, such an effort. I told him on the phone that I was going to buy another one in January. because I loved it so much. I wanted a second one. We're actually going to put bedding and things into it, lime. We're going to mix our sawdust. I think it's going to be exceptionally good for that, and that's what I wanted a second one for. He just dropped this to me. I drove the whole way from Galway, which is a nice little track, about 3 hours, I think it is, from here to Galway. He drove there and drove back just especially to give me this bin. And a huge hamper along with it. So he went over and aboard. An absolute gentleman. I can't appreciate that enough. It just made our Christmas. He was sitting beside it. Well, they came yesterday evening. I want to be talking about them over the Christmas week if we can get someone to fit them for us. I had a company contact me in the UK and we specifically sought these tyres out for our quad. Going to talk about them. They're really cool. I can't wait to get them on. We'll chat about them in another video. So that's it. Really good gesture. Generosity is unbelievable in this channel. People have been so generous towards us. And thanks so much. I really appreciate that, Michael. Really appreciate it. So it's the day after that. I didn't get to film any more that day because I was away most of the day. We had a great conversation with the guys in Carl Engineering. I didn't film anything. There's a reason for that, but we will be filming something very soon. But we did order a machine. The machine that I went to pick up was great, but the lad said no, not the machine for you. They're going to build me one now. I'm not going to tell you what the machine is yet. They're going to build it for me and hopefully be ready then in January, because really and truly I do need it. I would have liked to have had it home with me because I would be using it actually today if I had it. But once I heard the few bits and pieces they were talking about, I said, maybe I will wait. So yeah, look, I'm really excited. I'm really excited to get it. It's going to be a huge benefit to us here on the farm. So keep an eye out. That's going to be going up soon. I have to say, putting that radio in, it's the first morning I've come up in a long time and there's been no boards in the shed. I don't know if it has worked fully yet, because I do see some dung on the ground, but that could have been there from the day before, so I'm likey a lot. Go back, go back, go back. Give them a little bit of nutrition when they're in. And I had to pack the stuff around it. What happens if you don't pack old silage around it, they'll fling the bucket out and throw blocks and all out. What I need to do is I need to make a little ring, steel ring, either in there or at the bottom of the barrier here, and just so I can hang the buckets in. That's what I need to make, that's what I will make. But just for now, over Christmas, this will do. So we'll clean up the rest of this, throw it around here, that'll hold that in place. Fire a bale in, clean down our cubicles, and then head on to the next job. I clean them every single day. They don't be that terribly dirty, and the longer the cattle in, they seem to learn not to do anything up on their cubicles as they go along. There's always the one that will. Right, I didn't put in 2 bales, I just put in the 1. To be honest with you, it kind of works better with the 1. At least it's free and I can throw meal alongside it. I know I haven't put in what I was telling you about yet for the meal, but we're putting something in. With just everywhere's closed at the minute, I need a few bits and pieces just to put it together. It's nuts now, so they're cleaning it off a lot better. Keeps it fresher. I know they eat it quicker, but I don't mind. To be honest with you, it's nice to get a few days off for Christmas. Yes, I could have put in a load of silage and I wouldn't have to worry about them then till after Christmas, but I'm going to be coming over here anyway, and to be honest, it's nice to get out of the house. I'm not one for sitting around long days in the house. It's nice to get out after a bite to eat, get some fresh air, keep the body moving, and you're much healthier, and to be honest with you, you'll be much happier. This is another thing I'm going to have to address. They're licking this bottom pin out off the barrier. Now, they can't open the barrier because the top one's still in. They haven't figured out how to lick the top one out. So I'm going to have to address that. I could drill a hole and put a little split pin in there. That would probably solve it the easiest way, but I'll come up with some idea. Say if you look over here. No, they didn't do it this time. But if we go down the other barrier, I'd say it's licked off as well. By the way, girls. No, this morning they're behaving themselves. Yes, the morning they're all licked off. Thing is, I throw my... You son of a... Sorry about that. We dirty silage that side, wrap in here. You can see I've nearly no waste. It's all been very good and the cows are eating it all so far. I've seen something on a person I follow there, Louise Crowley. I seen that she had a JFC bin for putting her wrap in and then lifting it up, and it was kind of kept in a bale form from JFC, and I thought it was an excellent idea. I'm going to speak to JFC about that and see about getting one, because this keeps that wrap all nice and tidy. At home we've a huge pile in the shed. It's taken up a shed. Hopefully it'll be taken away soon. Right girls, see you Christmas Day. Have a good one. Hope Santa comes. Alright, so I'm over here now in the other farm again. We're ready to cut some sticks. If I look cold, trust me, it's because I'm absolutely freezing. The wind's coming from the north, shocking exposed over here, and it is just absolutely freezing. I was over here the other day burning some bushes. Back about a week ago, burnt a few bushes here beside this tree, and it obviously heated up the tree because the tree's on fire. So I'm gonna have to throw a few buckets of water on that to put that out. Great burner. It's an old chestnut tree. You might have seen it in our very first videos way back. If you want to go back and look at it, it's when Storm Ophelia demolished it, and I'm glad it did, because it was dangerous, very, very dangerous. Just take a few chops off it, cut it nice and narrow. It splits nice and easily now. It didn't at the beginning, now it does. Chop them up to take them home with my parents. This trailer is one you've probably never, well, some of you might never have seen on YouTube. This is my quad trailer. The reason it wasn't seen was this was an absolute bits. I bought that about 6-7 years ago. Oh, only paid very little money for it. Putting a different axle into it, putting bigger wheels. I bought them myself. I love it because these sides are completely removable. The front opens on a hinge and a door, back opens the same way. You can just hook the front off, hook the back off, and just pull the sides up, and then you have a small flat trailer. But I had this trailer totally rebuilt by Mount View Engineering in Mountain Lodge in County Cavan. They've done an exceptionally good job. It was a wooden floor that was in it, an old wooden floor. They put a steel floor in it. Solid steel floor, done away with the wood. The water would lay where the wood and the metal came together and would rot the trailer out. So the trailer was completely rotten. The floor was falling out of it. It was dangerous. You couldn't, completely unusable. So it sat for a good while in the shed. But we got it back. I'll show you a quick video now of what it was like when I was putting it together after getting it back. I think that looks good. That's it all fixed up. It's a very handy trailer because it's great. It's the door in the front, door on the back. The sides are so easy to take off. And not only that, but it holds a big load, and it's very solid. It's not overly heavy either. These are the old floorboards. They're laying over here. Floorboards were fine. It was just the actual part that was holding the floorboards was completely rusted out. Fixed now, and we have a heavy plate on the bottom of it instead of timber. And it should be good for another couple of years. So you can see it turned out a fine job. It's a bit dirty now, but I think that other video will just show you a bit better of what it was like when I came back. So fair play to the boys in Mountain Lodge. They built trailers and stuff for me in the past, and their stuff has always been very, very well done. And this is no exception. They sprayed the whole thing and painted the whole thing for me as well, and just left it right. Now we have a good steel floor in it that's solid as a rock. Great for carrying, great for cleaning out, great for carrying stuff, and should get many more years out of this. for chain oil. It doesn't need it yet, just want to top up the petrol, so chain oil is quite full. Because it holds the chain oil on one side and holds the petrol on the other, and that's very, very handy. One tank, you don't have to carry around a heap of tanks, one tank does all. Fairly inexpensive, very, very handy. Cutting up nicely, some lovely colours in this, lovely colours running right through it. It's an old tree. I'm not sure if it would have been any good for furniture or not. Chestnut, I don't know. It's cutting really nice, the chainsaw's good and sharp. I'm going to cut a couple of more pieces of this off, then I'm going to chop them up and I'm going to bring them home. I don't need to bring home very much, and I don't want to put a big load in the trailer either because the field is quite wet. So just enough to do for the next couple of days or a week or whatever. I'm going to come back over here every so often and just keep chopping away at it. So my Hero 8 just decided to die on me. That's one of the biggest problems I had with that camera. Great camera, takes a great picture, but the batteries are crap, and that is just a big negative. That's why I don't like it with the Hero 8. Thankfully the Hero 9 is much, much better. It's with me, it's in the bag, but there's no batteries in it. And it tends to work a lot better when you put batteries in it. But of course, being me, I left the batteries at home. What's wrong? What's the matter with you? What's the matter? What's the problem? What? I don't know what's wrong with my dog today. She's definitely trying to get my attention for some reason. And I remember her doing something like that before, and there was a cow had got out of the slatted shed, and I think she was just trying to tell me that. And hopefully there's nothing wrong and you're trying to tell me now, but you're acting weird. Oh, that's enough sticks to keep them going for a couple of weeks. Just my iron here. This shed was built in the 1930s, 1940s, but it was here originally when my parents bought this house. It was probably an old pig house. I think there was one below it, and that's why this was probably just a separation wall, and that's why we built bricks then on top of it, blocks on top of it, and to put a roof on it, because other building practically fell down. But it's cool, we kept it, we didn't demolish it. It has a bit of history. My father would have patched it up. There's an old mud wall, it was starting to fall down, so you got a sheet of galvanized, probably back in the early 50s, put up against it, packed the concrete down just to kind of hold the thing together. It was the way people kind of done things then. I suppose material wasn't as plentiful then, and probably funds wasn't as plentiful either, so you might do it what you had. But it was cool, it's still there, it's still solid, it's something he done, it's something I will never touch. I'll keep it dry, look after it, it's a bit of heritage that's on the farm. It's a nice memory to have to pass on to the next generation, and hopefully the generation after that. Let's get this all cleaned up, get some silage in, because it's just gone 4 o'clock and the evening is just creeping up on me. Christmas Eve, I want to get done early. I want to get down, I want to just have a bit of crack in the house. Although it's probably going to be more busy than anything, and probably just going to be in the way, but I want to get down. So let's get these cattle fed and get out of here. Let her heat up a bit. The old girl was cold, she was cold. Right, taking over a few minutes now. It's time to horse some silage into these cattle. Lights up, it is. Put in the silage the way I used to put in the silage, and funny enough, that's all because of a few comments that I got when I was putting in my silage for the first time with the loader. People give me a couple of quick tips of how I could save myself graping so much. People told me to put the bale block in, turn it around. Yes, it won't do as long, but there's no graping. Do you know something? Best advice I ever got. So thank you for commenting that, because I have learned, I do listen, and I am willing to adjust things. But just because you do something and doing something a long time doesn't mean you're doing it the right way. Everybody knows better ways of doing things, especially our loader. It was great bit of advice, I took it on board, and now I'm going to put in the silage that way. Silage now with the lights on, them LED lights just change that tractor so much for me. It's a lot safer. I can see exactly what I'm doing, and you can't beat having a good enough light. So you see the way I did it? Popped it off, spun it round, no hassle. Nearly no graping. Once that's set down to a bit here, some of it falls out on the ground, scrape it back to them, done. Very handy. That's it. That's all fed for Christmas Eve. House is packed up, not have to touch it now for a few days. Just to interrupt that video. This is Christmas Day, day after. And I had that video prepared, and you'll go back to it now in a second. But if you look over here in the corner, just keep my voice down. And the calving pen, if you can see it down in the distance. I came out this morning to milk, and the first thing I noticed was a cow that I'd been watching. She's due on the 27th. She's decided to calve. This will be calving season 2020, 2021 started. Every Christmas for the past 3 years we've had a cow calved, and we've always had a heifer calf. In fact, 2 years ago we had two calved on Christmas Day, and one in the middle of the night in the very early hours and one in the middle of the day. and they both had heifer calves. The 1 year after I had a heifer calf. This cow has never had a heifer calf before. She's getting up again. She's just a little bit unsettled, but the water bag is busted. I'm not going to give her much more time because she's had the feed out quite a while now. The bag's busted and it's time really to get it out. So I'm going to take it out now. I'm not going to film. I'm just going to get to it here and just get this calf out, make sure it's okay. We'll pick it up now in a second. Just whenever she decides to lie down again, we'll go in and we'll give her a little bit of help just to get it out. But 2 hours later, we've had a lovely little bull calf. Mum's great, calf's great. Calf's been up and drank his fill. Everyone's good and healthy. She's actually through the bedding all around, because that's what happens the first time you bed the house. It builds up as you go along, but she's through the bedding all around the centre, because she just kind of does that. She'll be hooking just before she calved. So I'll rebed it out. I'll leave her and the calf here tonight. That's a good result. It's a great way to start calving season. Them calf will probably end up going to Donegal. A farmer Donegal who buys our bull calves to raise them. There's a guy also in the far side of Monaghan who buys them as well, all our bull calves between the two of them. So he'd be glad to get an early calf into his herd. I just thought I'd sneak that into the video before he finally put it up. So let you back to the video. So I'm just going to milk now in a few minutes. Going to be done early, in the house early. Well, these are all marked red because they're all dry. That whole shed will be calving in very early January. This shed will be calving in mid to late January. And these girls are still milking. They'll be calving in February to March. So they're still milking and milking well at the minute. They've got tape on their tails as well. The red is just to make sure that you don't make any mistakes and no cow gets to work her way into the parlour by mistake. These things can happen. You can make a mistake, you can rust them more, and anything can happen. So I always spray their elders with red as well, and I keep it topped up so it doesn't wear off. Then you see the ones over there, they have no spray on them. So when they calve, they'll be calving earlier. When they calve, one of these will take their place as the calf, and we keep moving them over. And when they go over there, then we don't put any more paint on. We let the paint wear off, and by the time they calve, there's no paint on them, and they'll join the milking herd. So you kind of get the idea. It's simple, very simple, but it works great for us, and it eliminates any accidents, maybe a cow penicillin or something into the tank. I don't know when this video will be out. I'm not going to edit this evening. I'm taking Christmas Eve off. I'm not editing tomorrow. Christmas Day off. I'm going to spend a bit of time with the family, have a bit of crack. So on Stephen's Day, I'll get this video edited. But Christmas is probably going to be over when you're watching this. So I hope you've had a really good Christmas. You've enjoyed it with the family. You didn't kill each other. It's an awkward year. You just can't do the things that we'd love to do for Christmas and what we're used to be doing for Christmas. Out and have a few beers, have a bit of a laugh with your friends. But I hope you enjoyed it. We'll catch you very shortly with another one. If you haven't subbed, now's your chance. If you like our videos, hit that sub button. It helps the channel out an awful lot. Just notifies you, that's all it does. It notifies you when a video's up so you don't miss it. Give us a like, comment down below, follow us on Instagram, TalkTick, Book of Faces, the whole lot. You know where it works. Until the next one, catch you again.